Hey everyone, Nate from Grower's House, and it's been a long day over here. The monsoons came in through Tucson and we only lost power twice today. It was a good day, and then something unexpected happened. These came in. So this is what showed up at our door. The new prototypes of the BlackDog Phytomax LEDs. And these are the new 4 models that are going to replace essentially the models that BlackDog currently has, the Universal series. So this is the 800 watt unit, the 600 watt unit, the 400 watt unit, and this cute little guy, the 200 watt unit. So essentially BlackDog has come out with their 3rd iteration of the photogenesis spectrum that they originally created. And the last one was Universal series. Now they're at the Phytomax series. These have just come out. It put a smile on my face to see these come in because now we get to test them. So I asked BlackDog as soon as they came in, what is the deal with these new lights? Why'd you guys come out with a new light? What's different about it? So what they told me was that they redesigned these lights to actually be slightly lighter than the last series. They've made minor iterations to their spectrum to actually make it slightly improved over their last model, which these still include a lot of UV and near infrared, so IR spectrum, which a lot of LEDs don't. And we're going to throw it under our spectrometer so we can see some of that, but also it's important to note that if you're putting a par meter under this this light, there's a lot of the spectrum that the par meter won't read. Those near infrared and UV spectrum, essentially, or spectra, are not going to show up on that par meter because they're not between 400 and 700 nanometers. But what they do for plants is they increase your plant's overall potency and compactness and quality. So a lot of people are really demanding that their lights these days have UV spectrum in them, because as this industry is progressing and maturing, it's really coming down to who can grow the best quality plants. And that's what a lot of these different spectrums outside of your general reds, whites, and blues do. So I wanted to really get these lights in stock, and I'm glad that BlackDog sent these to us, because now we can test them and see how they stack up essentially against other LEDs on the market. And since the last time we tested their new Universal series, probably about 2 years ago. So one last thing before we jump into it, when comparing these lights to other ones, I think it's really important that everyone knows that there's a difference between what some LED companies call maybe they'll call themselves a 1000 or a 500, but sometimes their actual draw at the wall for maybe their 1000 is 682 watts at the wall. It's really important that when you think of LEDs and you're referencing a number that the LED company gives you, you're thinking about it in terms of what the actual draw is at the wall, because that's truly how many watts you're going to be paying for your kilowatt hour and through your electricity bill. But at the same time, that's the best indicator of how much light you're going to get out of that unit. So what BlackDog does is their 800 is 800 watts at the wall, and 600, 400, 200 going down the line. Like some companies, you'll note, like even California Lightworks, their 880 is a little bit lower than 880 watts. So they're actually doing the multiple of how many diodes they are times the wattage. But not all 5 watt diodes, they actually don't operate at 5 watts, they operate at less than. So always think of units in terms of their actual draw at the wall. I think that's very important for all growers going into, especially purchasing an LED, so you can compare what I would consider apples to apples. So other than that, I'm super excited to just throw these under our spectrometer and see what kind of readings these dish out. Let's check it out. So here's the BlackDog LED Phytomax 800 Spectrum, and you can see it's like how you'd expect most LEDs. It's got the peaks around chlorophyll A and B, you know, in the blues and the reds, a little bit more intensity in the reds to make sure you got a little bit more penetration and spectrum for the flowering plants. Another thing that we noticed with this spectral graph is that there is the UVA bump, which you can see all the way to the far left. And now I want to note, going over to these par charts now, at 12, 24, and 36 inches above the canopy, that UV intensity and the spectrum is not going to show up in these par numbers, essentially because it's outside of the wavelength range that par measures. So there's some intensity out of this light that's not accounted for in the par numbers you see here. And you know, you can see how you know, it maps out the par intensity over the 5x5 footprint. I think for flowering, you're going to have the light probably hung closer to about 24 inches above your plants, where when you're vegging, probably more like the 36 inches above your plants. And you know, seeing the UV bump, going back to that for a second, in this light really prompted us to think, you know, we should do a test on all the lights in the industry that have UV or claim that they have UV. So keep your eyes peeled for that coming out soon, and I hope this information helps you, you know, map out your grow room and choose the best light for your particular grow space. This is Nate from Grower's House. Happy growing!